Good morning, students. Welcome to my presentation on 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, which has given a constitutional status and legal provisions to the establishment of Panchayat Raj in India. So let us see the introduction. 73rd Amendment Act is also known as the Panchayat Raj Act, and this act of the Indian Constitution gave the constitutional status to the Panchayat Raj system, and this was passed in the year 1992 with the objective of having a more democratic form of governance, and it came into effect on 24th April 1993. As I said, this act was aiming at the decentralization. Instead of centralizing power in the hands of the central government and the state government, it has given power to the local bodies, local governance, that is Panchayat Raj system. And this act empowered the state governments to take the necessary steps that would lead to the formalization of Gram Panchayats and help them operate as units of self-governance. And 73rd as well as the 74th amendments played a major role in decentralizing power in India by transferring power from central and state governments to the local bodies. However, this act does not apply to Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Mizoram, as well as certain areas which include the scheduled areas and tribal areas in the states, and the hill areas of Manipur with the district councils, and the Darjeeling district of West Bengal with the Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council. Let's see what is a 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. This is concerning, as I said, has given the legal and constitutional backup or support to the Panchayat Raj system, which is established at the 3 level. And if you see, the village panchayats existed in India long before the act was passed, but the system had inherent weaknesses like the inability to be the people's government responsive to the needs, and this was due to a variety of factors like a lack of financial resources in the panchayat, and no regular elections, and inadequate representation of weaker sections like scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and women. Then the directive principles of state policy in the Constitution of India lays down in Article 40 that government shall facilitate the establishment and smooth functioning of Gram Panchayats. In order to address these issues, as what I mentioned previously, the issues faced by panchayats, and strengthen the local governments in India, the central government brought about a 73rd Amendment Act 1992, which was passed in both houses, entered and came into effect, as I said, 24th April 1993. And this was added a new chapter in the constitution called Part 9 under the name the Panchayats. And this act was a significant landmark in the evolution of grassroots democratic institutions in the country, as it transferred the representative democracy into participatory democracy. Let us see the background in which this act came in. As I said, the Article 40 under the directive principles of state policy of the Constitution of India said that the state shall take steps to organize village panchayats. Please note down this: state shall take steps to organize village panchayats and endow them with such powers. Endow them means the endowed the panchayats with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as units of self-government. So they should not be depending on a center or state. They should be units of self-governance. Okay. Um, so there are various committees having seen the Article 40's strong provisions and admonitions. The committees were formed to recommend the formulation of Panchayat Raj institutions in India. So we have Balwandarai Mehta Committee 1957, Ashok Mehta Committee 1977, and GVK Rao Committee 1985, and LM Singhvi Committee 1986, and PK Dungan Committee in 1988, then Gadgil Committee at the end 1988. So all these committees in one or the other way they have suggested to formulate and formalize Panchayat Raj institutions at the three level in India. And we see Rajiv Gandhi as a prime minister, as in his government he has taken initiative to introduce the bill for to give the constitutional status to the panchayat. So we see that 64th constitutional amendment was introduced by him in parliament on 15th May of 19 84, but it was defeated in an Lok Sabha. It was passed on 1989. Sorry, not 1989, and it, it was passed in the Lok Sabha on August 1989, but it could not be passed in Rajya Sabha uh, uh, till 1991. So it was not successful, and we see even this bill was again in another form. 73rd constitutional amendment bill was no, introduced in the parliament again on September 1989 by VP Singh government. However, this the fall of the government resulted in the lapse of the bill, and it was not successful. And again, the efforts were taken by Prime Minister PV Narasimha Rao, and he considered the matter of constitutionalization of Panchayat Raj bodies and introduced the bill in the Lok Sabha on 1991. So this was a successful attempt. The bill finally emerged in the as a 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1992, and it came after getting the president's accent. It came into force on 24th April 1990. And let us see the objectives of 73rd Amendment Act. And this act only was to democratically decentralize authorities and resources from the center to the locally elected officials. And this act's goal was to relate Article 40 of the Constitution, which calls for the state to set up village panchayats and give them the necessary authority and powers to function as self-governing entities. And significance of the act, as we have been discussing, this act no constitutional amendment act has given a constitutional status to the Panchayat Raj institution, and it has brought them under the purview of justiciable part of the constitution. And state governments are under the constitutional obligation to adopt the new Panchayat Raj system in accordance with the provisions of the Act. Then this was a landmark, significant landmark in the evolution of grassroots democratic institutions, which has transferred the representative democracy into participative democracy. Earlier, people were represented, but now they are participating even at the grassroots level and the intermediate and district level. And it was a revolutionary concept to build a democracy at the grassroots level and improvement of local self-government throughout the country. And it was a historical initiative for women empowerment of backward class, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and so on. In order to celebrate this and further give impetus to the institutions, the central government in 2010 decided to observe 24th April every year as a National Panchayat Raj Day. Thank you.